tonight on the news at 6. Election Day is next week, but Republicans in the state legislature are already making post-election plans.
Plus, don't throw your jack-o'-lanterns in the trash this year. Pumpkins are still useful after Halloween.
From Montana's news leader, this is MTN News at 6.
Good evening and welcome to the news at 6. I'm Marian Davidson.
And I'm Andy Curtis. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Montana reported 1,063 new COVID-19 cases today. That's a new record high number of cases reported in one day. That pushes the statewide total to more than 32,000 cases. Almost 9,700 of those are active cases. 25 more deaths have been reported since last night, meaning nearly 390 Montanans have died from COVID-19 complications. Now, it is important to keep in mind MTN numbers do vary from those reported by state officials, and that's because we track data from the state and local health departments to give you the most up-to-date information available.
And here with the newest member of the KTVH family, there he is, there they are, Chief Meteorologist Curtis Krevenitz.
Hey, and Sheriff Leo Dutton locked her up, says she was bad pet, charge of cuteness. Look at those in the pet penitentiary. Andy knows what it's like to be in colors like this, but hey, happy Friday, everybody. Boy, we've had some changes over the last couple of hours. We're in the 60s and even the 70s in some areas. Those numbers have dropped since with the front going through, and boy, what a wicked wind. Some gusts up over 50, even 60 miles per hour. Still technically a high wind warning for parts of the state, lake wind advisory and a wind advisory on the other side of the continental divide here, but the wind will be dying off, and really what a treat Halloween will be, and the beginning of November. It's not like a normal beginning of November with record highs likely, and we will talk about when we have to say goodbye to those record highs and when snow will move back in. That's coming up.
Thanks for that, Curtis. What an adorable first weather. Well, Montana's next legislature won't be elected until next week, but Republicans are pretty much a lock to remain in the majority. And some GOP lawmakers have been drawing up their priorities, especially if they have a Republican governor for the first time in 16 years.
MTN Chief Political Reporter Mike Dennison obtained a copy of some of those plans, and he files this report.
The draft plan is 7 pages of detailed proposals. Its top priorities include cutting the state's top income tax rate, using lodging taxes to help finance reductions in property taxes, expanding drug treatment courts, and restricting the power of local health boards and the governor to issue regulations on COVID-19. But it doesn't stop there. Some of its other proposals, ending Election Day voter registration, peeling back regulations on natural resource projects, a new tax on renewable power that's sold out of state, restricting abortion, and greatly expanding school choice, which would be some form of public aid or tax credits that help kids going to private schools or other alternative forms of education. State Representative Derek Skees of Kalispell, who helped draft some of the plans, told MTN News that Republicans want to hit the ground running and that the list is their way of getting prepared. He also says Republican lawmakers have been meeting with Republican gubernatorial candidate Greg Gianforte about their plans and that Skees doesn't see a lot of disagreement. Yet a spokesman for Gianforte says his priorities are outlined in his Montana Comeback Plan, which he released in July. Gianforte is locked in a tight battle with Democrat Mike Cooney for governor. Libertarian Lyman Bishop of Kalispell also is on the ballot for governor. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
The GOP legislative plans were drafted by the conservative wing of Republicans in the Montana House. MTN News learned that a bloc of more moderate Republicans is working on their own set of proposals as well.
And the Montana Medical Association and the American Medical Association are urging Montanans to reject 2 ballot measures that would legalize recreational marijuana. The 2 groups say they oppose the legalization of cannabis through ballot measures, citing the risk of unintentional exposure to children and increased use in adolescents and pregnant women. Both organizations say scientific study and clinical trials are necessary to assess the safety of any drug. The Montana Medical Association is the largest statewide physician organization. And Montana's biggest election day in 2 decades is just a few days away, and it looks like mail ballots will help lead to a record turnout. So, what's the actual status of the major races here in Montana? And how might the national political landscape and the turnout affect the final outcome? No one knows for sure, of course, but this Sunday morning on MTN's Face the State, 2 of the top political experts in the state examine where these major races stand and what to look for on Election Day when the votes start coming in. MTN Chief Political Reporter Mike Dennison will host this week's edition of Face the State, and his guests will be Montana State University Political Science Department Chair David Parker and University of Montana Political Science Professor Rob Saldin. Parker and Saldin say Republicans should be the odds-on favorite to win the races for U.S. Senate, U.S. House, and Governor next week. But they say it's also possible that storm clouds could be looming on the horizon for the GOP.
If this is a single-digit race at the presidential level, I don't think that augurs well at all for Republicans down ballot, because certainly I think people see this election as a referendum on the incumbent and a referendum on the Republican Party, and it suggests to me that people have soured a bit, and that could have implications from the start of the ticket down to the Senate race and even down to state legislative races.
I guess I do think that Republicans have reason to be cautiously optimistic at this point, but this is how a wave election often looks before it actually hits. I think that's the big thing that I would be really worried about if I were running one of these Republican campaigns, is that oftentimes you don't see that wave hit until it's actually on top of you.
The Half an Hour show airs Sunday morning on this MTN station at 8 o'clock a.m.
All right, I know Halloween is not over just yet, but what are you planning to do with your jack-o'-lanterns after tomorrow? Well, Oddfellow Inn and Farm in Helena will happily take them off your hands and give them to their pigs. Jared Engels, co-owner of the Oddfellow Inn and Farm, says that even if your pumpkin is sad and mushy, the pigs will still love it. They also take donations of frozen apples and other kitchen scraps year-round.
Pumpkins in pretty much any condition, not too moldy or something like that, but if it's got a droopy smile on the jack-o'-lantern, that's fine.
If you want to treat the pigs to your pumpkins or other kitchen scraps, give Oddfellow Farm and Inn a call. And still ahead on the news at 6, looking for safe Halloween events this weekend? We have the latest list coming up next.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back to the news at 6. COVID-19 has canceled a lot of popular Halloween events, but no fear, there will be options for trick-or-treaters this year.
That's right. Organizers are taking steps to make sure you and your family stay safe during the pandemic. MTN's Alexia Aguayo has the latest on where you can go for Halloween.
Things are starting to get a little scary, but throw in bagged candy and even wireless headphones, and you have Halloween like any other year. Sort of. Helena businesses are making sure Halloween isn't canceled by hosting events for families.
The 2020 has been a bad year, it's been up and down with this COVID-19 going on. It's not the kids' fault. This is one holiday out of the year that the kids enjoy. The kids should go out and have fun. We want this to make it a normal year.
Helena Nissan is one example with their event Trunk or Treat. They are decorating their vehicle to serve as houses for kids to trick or treat. Each vehicle will be separated and follow public health guidelines. Masks will be required, and Nissan is advising they are only letting in 25 people at a time.
We have talked with the health department. We're all on the same page. We will have parking in the back of the building so that everybody can park. We'll have people designate what 25 can come at a time. So we're going to make it safe for everybody, make sure the kids are safe and the families are safe.
Casinos are also getting involved by hosting a drive-through Halloween. People can drive by the casino, admire the decorations, and pick up a bag of candy, all while staying in the vehicle. 4J's, Luz Caboose, and Dre's in East Helena will release the details of entering and exiting the event on Halloween.
And we just thought this was a really safe event that we could do, and it's all about the kids. It really is just, the more we can do to make these kids happy, I think we're all better off.
If you still wish to participate in Halloween but not attend these public events, the CDC and Public Health have released their own tips and advice on how to do that.
In Helena, I'm Alexi Guayo, MTN News.
All right, and Curtis, what's coming up in our possibly cutest forecast ever?
Bad dogs, what you gonna do? All right, we've got Halloween coming up here and a big warm-up a little after Halloween for the beginning of November. We'll talk record highs coming up in the full forecast.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenens.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I never thought I'd be that kind of a dog dad that dresses up the dog, but I swear this will be the last time, maybe this today. Here is a look at Helena right now, 48 degrees after a high right near 70. This front came through with some clouds and, of course, the wind, and the clouds starting to clear out in Great Falls. Should be a pretty sunset here, 50 degrees. Again, after a high that was right up near 70. You can see some of that cooler air in the western part of the state, still in the 60s, south central and southeastern areas. This is not a stuffed animal, it's a live dog, I swear. Wind speeds, you can see, are still 44 miles per hour in Livingston. Really, really wicked wind out there. Today, the good news is the wind will subside here through the night into tomorrow. Not a windy day. Central and western Montana tomorrow, still looking at some pretty good wind in the eastern part of the state. And Sunday won't be that windy either. But technically still under a high wind warning for north central Montana, although the worst of the wind is over with the passage of the front that has already moved through. A couple of sprinkles around Helena. You can see some of that snow into the higher terrain. If you are heading up into the mountains, be careful because things will likely freeze up a little bit here tonight. A little snow also up here into New England. A little unusual for southern New England to see snow this time of year. But here's what will happen for this weekend. The little minor front will be moving off towards the south, and through the overnight hours, skies for the most part will clear out. It's almost a full moon. We get a full moon on Halloween here this year. And okay, see, told you, it's not a puppet either. For Saturday, looking at a mostly sunny day, a little windy in the eastern part of the state, but very nice and sunny here for most locations. Saturday night, Halloween again, getting dark at around 7 o'clock, sunset at 6:15. Keep that in mind. Full moon Saturday night, and we'll still be looking at mainly clear skies here through the overnight hours and Sunday. A fantastic day, warm and sunny. A little unusual here for the first day of November, and because we fall back, we set those clocks back, there will be sunset at about 5:15 coming up on Sunday night. So here is the forecast for tonight. Still a little bit of wind out there. Eventually, temperatures getting down close to the freezing point here for most of the states. Down into the 20s, into the mountains. And here's the forecast for Halloween tomorrow. Really a pretty nice day. A little on the cool side, but mostly sunny, windy in eastern Montana. That wind should die down by trick-or-treat time tomorrow evening. And don't forget, we fall back Saturday night into Sunday morning. Sunday, we will have a mostly sunny day. Look at these temperatures, 50s and 60s. A little wind off the Rocky Mountain front, not too bad, but nice start to the first day of November. Heading into Monday, look at these temperatures, more like September than November, with highs getting up into the 70s. Will likely set new record highs in Great Falls, maybe Cup Bank, Havre, Lewistown, a lot of central and eastern Montana, maybe some minor inversions keeping the valley locations of western Montana slightly cooler, but still we're up into the 60s. And then heading into Tuesday, continued sunshine and continued warmth with highs in the 60s and the 70s. Here is the 7-day forecast, and Halloween tomorrow, pretty nice. Don't forget, we fall back Saturday night. Sunday, 56 degrees for the high. Monday will be into the 60s for Helena. Pretty nice weather on Election Day, highs in the 60s. Same goes for Wednesday. Some cooler air coming back on Thursday and Friday, and it does look like we'll have some big-time changes next weekend with a return of cold and possibly some snow. And for Great Falls, nice Halloween tomorrow, not too bad. Trick-or-treat temperatures probably falling into the lower 40s. Fall back Saturday night. Sunday, a nice day, and record warmth to look forward to coming up on Monday, Tuesday, possibly even on Wednesday.
All right, thanks you two. Coming up next, we'll introduce you to the Fairfields assistant coach that's helping lead the team to victory.
Montana's news leader. You're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back to the News at 6. Fairfield is one of the most successful football programs in the state.
And even though the team is under new leadership, they still have some consistency on the sidelines. Tom Wiley has more.
Not many people would have batted an eye if you predicted the Fairfield Eagles to take a step back in 2020 after years of domination in Class B. They welcomed in a new head coach and graduated some of the best athletes in the state, but the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Past teams have kind of built a legacy in Fairfield and just can't lose those games.
They're Northern Beach champs once again entering the playoffs. And one of the common denominators for this year's Fairfield teams and seasons past is assistant coach Charlie Brown.
Well, I've been in Fairfield since 1991. I was the head coach from 91 to 94. Gamrod took over from 94, I think, to 97. And then Coach Meyer took over in 97, and then I jumped on board in 98.
When Greg Meisner took over the program this summer, he leaned heavily on Brown to help him get up to speed.
He was a big help, helped me get a little acclimated kind of with the district and get to know the kids, where I hadn't met them yet. He's a good leader for our program. He's a great mentor to our coaches and our kids.
The kids need a constant, and they need something that they can rely on and remember and know what they know and talk of the same language.
I was glad that he stayed around and stuff, and he's one of the best line coaches in the state, so it's really helped our line, and he implemented the old in the new stuff that we're doing, and I'm happy that he stayed around.
After 30 years in Fairfield, his love for the game, the community, and the players has always been strong and remains so to this day.
What the community does, putting the flags up and decorating the town and painting the road. I mean, it's absolutely amazing what this community does for us, for the football team. And then they're a good group of kids. They're hardworking kids. You know, they're goofballs at times, but also in turn they know when it needs to be serious and try to get the job done.
Brown is taking a year-to-year approach to coaching these days, and when he does finally hang up the whistle, the sidelines will be a little more quiet and a lot less fun.
I don't know why your parents love you. I sure don't. Well, my bark is way worse than my bite.
Yeah, Coach Brown is reputation's a little grumpy, but that's why we like him.
Come on, let's go home. Get out of here.
Tom Wiley, MTN Sports.
Curtis will have one last look at that weekend forecast when we come back.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back, everybody, and just in time for Halloween, we're learning an interesting fact about these creepy crawlers. This is the scary-sounding org-faced spider. And while they don't have ears, scientists recently learned that they can still hear. It turns out they're able to listen to sounds through receptors on their legs, including their leg hairs. Now, they can detect sounds from at least 6.5 feet away, and research shows that these spiders use auditory clues to detect and capture flying prey. Yep, that means spiders don't wait for insects to get stuck into their webs. They hunt. Sweet dreams.
Andy, you're scaring the puppy. Gosh. Speaking of this puppy, it's getting hair all over my suit. Anybody want a puppy? All right, here's a few people. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast. A little windy tonight here and a little cooler for a high temperature tomorrow, but hey, it's mostly sunny. Should be very nice trick-or-treat weather for the evening hours. For Saturday night, don't forget we fall back and then we're up into the 70s. Record highs for Great Falls likely on Monday and Tuesday. And for Helena, 50 degrees for the high tomorrow. Fall back as well Saturday night. And then we're in the 60s through Election Day. Some big time changes coming next weekend.
All right, Curtis, you set a precedent. She needs to now be in every newscast. That does it for the News at 6.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tonight at 10.